This week's First Impressions video is on Hitmen Havok, which is a platforming PvP shoot 'em up, chaos, gremlin, lots of randomness game. It's certainly an interesting concept. It reminds me a lot of Brawlhalla, just with guns instead of weapons. It is still in early access. There is still some things and changes that they've got. They've got a nice roadmap going. Feel free to wishlist on Steam. It should be coming out later this month, I do believe. I'm happy to report that there is players on the game already, and hopefully that means that there will be longevity with the game when it comes to full release. It does need a lot of work, however. There is some things that I would like to see changed, some more balancing updates and stuff, which they are saying that they're going to be doing. Your settings are pretty damn basic, but what I am happy to say is that it starts the master volume, music volume, and effects volume all the way down. It's incredibly quiet and therefore doesn't blow your eardrums out. It's maybe just a little bit too quiet, but I'd rather have to turn things up than turn them down after having no eardrums left. Your graphic options are lackluster to say the least, but this isn't a very high graphic fidelity game, and so it's not really too much of an issue, although some more optimization and higher fidelity graphic options would be really nice to see. All you do get is full screen windowed or borderless and your resolution. Annoyingly, the resolution is in this scroll side to side option, which is not really ideal, and then you can hit the apply button to make the changes you've made. A really nice feature of this is that you can change the crosshair from the color and the size, which is a really nice accessibility option, although you don't get that many colors to choose from. You've got your bluey purple here. I'm not entirely sure. I'm colorblind. One thing that would be nice is maybe on the color it says what the color is, as opposed to just being able to color it or choose it. You've then got like a yellow or a green, and then you've got like a red. So you've got a couple of colors and many different styles to choose from. You can then change the size from default to big or small. I quite like the small, I'm not going to lie. Your input, at the minute, I've got my keyboard and mouse plugged in, but you can have controller support, and they are working with better and upgraded controller support as well. Language options, you have a number of language options here to choose from, and I really like the fact that it's done in your flags, although it would be nice again to have some text under just for some greater accessibility for those who struggle to see pictures and things like that. When searching for a game, you have two options. This game is PvP only, so you can either host and just have a game yourself, or you can quick play and match up with a group of randoms. One thing I've got a problem with this game is the fact that everybody starts with a fairly weak weapon, and then every time you die you reset, which is fine until you realize that if you die, or whoever dies first, you're probably going to be kind of screwed from there on out, because you don't have a lot of health and everybody gets really, really OP weapons. And if you're bad at the game, which I kind of am, you kind of sit there with nothing. And the first weapon it starts you with seems to be a sniper rifle of some description, which is single shot, which on a fast-paced game like this really isn't all that advisable or good to use. You do get health pickups and armor pickups, and you've got things that allow you to jump high into the sky, and you've got warp gates and a couple of different mode styles and maps to choose from, which is fine. But ultimately, this is going to come down to who has the better gun more than who's the most skilled. If you are against somebody with an SMG of some description and you only have a single shot, you're going to have a really bad time of it. The score is kept by pressing tab, and you can see where you are on that thing, and you basically just go until the timer runs out and then you start again. It's not a game with a huge amount of depth, but it is kind of fun. I think if they maybe have a few more different starting weapons, or even just a faster reload time maybe for your single shot, I feel like this game would be a lot more fun. It is incredibly hard to aim as well, like using the mouse and trying to keep an eye on where you are and where you're aiming at and what way you're going and stuff. It is quite difficult, and as you can tell, I'm very, very bad at this game. It's definitely a learning curve, and it seems like there seems to be an issue where even though I go across and next to some other people, or across and get the ability to pick up another weapon, if you go too quickly for it, you're going to have a bad time and you're going to die. I feel like this is a very high ceiling game with a very simple premise, and I'm not mad about it. I do tend to have more luck with melee, but again, I feel like a few more balancing changes would be good here. I think a faster fire rate on the single shot weapon that you get when you start would definitely make this a lot better and much more fun. Otherwise, you can find yourself constantly dying because you just don't have the firepower, or, you know, you're just outmatched and have 0 health. It's a very simplistic game. It is somewhat fun. I don't quite see where the progression is and how much replayability you're going to get with this game, because it does seem to get stale rather quickly. It's the same sort of premise with each map, and outside of the different maps having different sort of characteristics, there's not really a lot of variety here. It's one to keep an eye on, especially if you like these sort of fast-paced PvP games, but maybe they could add some PvE modes later on down the line to give those of us a chance to learn and get better at the game without just being womp-womped as soon as you get in. Thank you very much for watching. I shall see you all next time.